Hey guys, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. I sent out an email recently with my one-page report. So if you don't get my emails and you want to actually see this one-page report or get these things I send out via email, go to podiatrypracticemastery.com, download anything that I have there, and it'll add you to my list to get the newsletter that I send out at times, the e-newsletter. So this is a one-page report I like to do. So these are kind of the goals that I was pursuing in March 2025, kind of any progress towards those goals, kind of what worked and what didn't work. Okay, so my goal in March, I try to focus on three things. So it was to get someone to edit my shorts or consider stopping it. So I've been doing YouTube shorts for some time, and I use an app where I record it right from my phone, and it goes into developing a short, like it has to be under 3 minutes, and then it uploads it there. I asked for it, puts on the transcripts, and I was having my virtual assistant figure out the transcripts, make it look good, and then upload it to the YouTube. The big benefit I think of doing these shorts were that it gave me content about my largest check, about patients that were the most valuable that I wanted more of, and then I could use those little videos, for example, on our page, for example, on amnio. I could share an experience with a patient, or I could talk about Swift, or I could talk about other things that I'm wanting to do more of and get patient testimonials. That's what I was using it for. I was trying to do a lot of them, and it was fun, kind of like using my interaction with patients and making videos. But to get in the process of uploading them, I had a virtual assistant doing that. And I'm not sure if the juice is worth the squeeze. That's what I feel like. Because I don't want to be a YouTube star. And, doing these videos is fun, but I don't really see a lot of views on them. So it's more, I think the purpose of doing them is more for repurposing for content on the website or content that I then can share with my own patients. I have thought about putting it on our social media, but we don't spend a lot of time. I personally don't spend a lot of time in social media. So I would like to know if anyone is really rocking it on that and you have any ideas, please reach out to me and let me know. But for now, I'm kind of pausing that. So basically I'm going to do a few videos if I see an interesting case, but a lot of it's pretty repetitive, frankly. If you listen to my daily $1 Million Minute, it's shockwave, and then some ingrown toenails and some nail fungus and then some things like that. So maybe that's just my practice though. So the next was publishing a webinar. So I did publish a webinar on plantar fasciitis. I did this a while ago. It's not just a webinar, it was like an online course where people could get the online course, or they could get a recorded webinar, and people could sign up to meet with me to do a live one. It's fun, but a lot of times I get the bright shiny object syndrome. We're oh, let's try this for plantar fasciitis. Let's try this for plantar fasciitis. And so I did that. I kind of put it up there. Not many people signed up for it, and people are signing up for the recorded webinar, but not many people want to do the live. So I'm probably going to take off the live. I think the live webinar would be one where I could have, as I've done it in the past, where I send it out to my list a few times, and then I see people back. I see the patients that want to participate in it for an actual live one. I'm just kind of at a busy phase in life right now where I'm not really wanting to do that. And so I did not send any extra money to that, but I think that's a good niche of what I want to see more of. Next was trying to get our new doctor, Dr. Busier, without shooting ourselves in the foot. And that's basically we don't want to get the associate busier at the detriment of us. So trying to get him out to visit other doctors. So what we decided to do for him is we're blocking for the next 3 Thursdays half day, so he can go out there and market around the community, meeting other doctors, just kind of getting his nose to the grindstone and doing that. It's not a comfortable thing, but it needs to be done. Okay, so my numbers, I always like to share. These are mine. These are not for a whole practice. So in March, my billing was $91K. So this is what I brought in personally. So my goal, once again, each month is to bring in 80. So if I can bring in 80 at the end of the year, that's going to get me to the $1 million mark. There were 11 orthotics, which is okay. I'd like to do more. My partners do 30. I'd love to do 30. Shockwave, I did 30 shockwaves, which is pretty good. I did 8 Swifts, which is pretty good. It continues to increase. And so I'm getting better at that. The pain is still an issue. Patients have quite a bit of pain if I'm at a level of a 6, 7, or 8, and I stay 6 times in each location. I did 2 amnio injections, so we're having a hard time now trying to find another replacement for right ViaFlow because the price went up from about $500 to $1,500. We had 62 reviews, so we're doing Swift for online reviews, so that's a pretty good number of reviews. The challenges for Swell, not Swift. It's called Swell. For Swell is most of them go to our main web pages, and we have a lot of them that don't have any reviews. So we should start nurturing some of these other ones. And then on our website, since I kind of locked everything down so people can get information, but they have to put in their email, I had 106 people signing up for stuff on the website, which is pretty good. So I think it shows that a lot of people go into the website. There's a lot of good content that's on there. The most common ones are my shoe buying guide and my 30-second foot analyzer. So if you want to see those, you can go to our website, which is centralmasspodiatry.com. You can get the 30-second foot analyzer. Basically, it's a Google form that I put together and ask simple questions to people can figure out what's wrong with their foot, or my shoe buying guide, which I basically stole from Larry Hutman in a Google Doc, and I repurposed it for my own. So sorry, Larry, or thank you, Larry, one of the two. So that's kind of how we're doing for the downloads. Okay, what's working? I always like to look at this, what's working, what's not working, and what we can do to improve, and then I'll tell you about my focus for April. So what's working? The orthotics, prescribing them always with Shockwave is helping me much more. So as I'm doing, I've had 2 coaching sessions with a coach on Shockwave, and what he said, Don, so first of all, everyone has 6 sessions, and then he said, Don, everyone, just make it part of your protocol to help the mechanics so things don't come back doing orthotics. So in Massachusetts, where we're at, orthotics usually aren't covered, and I think everyone would benefit from orthotics, but many times I didn't have a way of doing it. So what I'm trying right now is, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do 6 sessions of Shockwave, and at the 3rd session, when your pain's kind of going down a little bit, that's when we're going to scan you for the orthotics. So by the last session, when you pick them up, you're going to be starting to feel a little bit better. And so that seems to be working better, even though it's a larger amount of money. I think once if people are in for an ounce, they're in for a pound, meaning, they're already dropping like $1,500 from the Shockwave, and then dropping another $600 for the orthotics isn't a big issue. It's getting the first dollar, but then after the big amount, then they're just kind of used to that. Okay. I had my assistant, Regan, she sent out letters to a group of Charles River doctors that I visited. So this was really nice. So she took it, she called them all up, see if they wanted information, sent it. And so we are getting more referrals from that group. I think we have to do a few more touch-outs with that. I had a good couple of personal days. I always like to share kind of what's going on in my personal life as well, because we're not isolated and only doing practice stuff. So I think you've heard, if not, my dad's dealing with some dementia right now, so I'm having to take time off to deal with things. So I took a day off to deal with his taxes, meeting a social worker, finding a place for my dad to kind of stay either part-time or temporarily, and just a lot of paperwork. So these things just need time. I can't do this stuff between patients, even if I have a scribe to help me out. So I took a day off. I felt much more grounded having that time off, so I am taking more personal days each month just to deal with stuff, because if there's no time, you don't have time on the weekend to do it. Other thing that was working, we evaluated kind of looking at a second Shockwave device. So we were undecided, and I've talked about this during multiple podcasts, but we have 2 radial devices. We have a focused Shockwave, which is a Storz device, and we have an unfocused Shockwave, which was the Softwave device. As we were looking at them, they put them on the paper. Basically, it seemed like all in with the refurbish and everything, the focused Shockwave, which is the Storz, would be about $55K. The Softwave would be about $91K to get 2 million shots for both of those. What we found out is it was negotiable with Softwave. They got it down to be about the same price between Focused and the Softwave, so the Storz and the Softwave device. I still think the Storz is a better device, the Focused. It's just quality, the thing never breaks down, very reliable, whereas the Softwave, every 250,000 you're having to send back stuff to get refurbished and things like that. But I kind of like the idea of having both devices to try them out. If I were in a practice I only had one, I would get the Focused, but I'm in a practice where I like to try out different stuff, so I'm happy to have the Softwave as well. So I'm doing both of those. I'm using them interchangeably based on wherever patients have pain. So also I had something fun. There was a doctor that came to see me, Dr. Stu. He is an anesthesiologist wanting to help another doctor to do more regenerative PRP in the practice, and so he came by to learn about ultrasound. So I was interested in that. So if you guys want to come by and just learn, and I don't know, if I can teach you something, I'd be happy to. Or if you can teach me something, I'd be happy to, even happier. But I like, that gave me a lot of energy when people come. So if you want to come to visit my office, I know one person reached out, they were going to go to a conference. Unfortunately, I was off that week on vacation. But if you guys are in Boston ever and you want to come visit, I'd love to have you come and visit. Or if you even live locally, I know there are a lot of people from Massachusetts and Connecticut that maybe listen to this. So that was fun. And then he introduced me to this dentist that does coaching. And I kind of like the idea. This guy is just a rock star. He's an 85-year-old. He retired when he was like 50. So he's been doing coaching for like 35 years for dentists. And I was like, wow, how does that work? He says, well, I go visit them, and give them ideas. And then they come visit my practice. And then eventually I didn't have a practice because I retired. And I just have them, I meet with them like an hour twice a month. And I'm like, that's cool. And how much does it charge? Well, he charges like $1,500 for 2 hours a month. And I was like, wow, that's great. I think that would be fun. So I think, I don't know, it's about $750 an hour. But even as I'm noticing this, because I think I told you I'm getting coached by this Shockwave guy, and Paul is his name. And it's like $500 an hour, but it's so worth it. Like, it has helped me so much in that 1 hour that I met with him. It just kind of blew my mind at like just someone that can really help me to learn one specific skill. And so I have thought about meeting with this Mayer is his name, this dentist. I've thought about it, but I feel like I'm kind of time strapped with everything else going on. But if you would like to meet with me, I think like $500 an hour would make sense. Kind of helping you with your practice, that would be fun for me to do, and I think I could give you a lot of value. So if you are interested, shoot me an email, don@podiatrypracticemastery.com, and we can set up a session and see if I can help you. Okay. So that's kind of the things that are working. The coaching is working. I'm interested in this model, and then also Marjorie. I'm excited about her. She is our nail technician. Once again, she has a nail salon. She helps us 3 days a week, the days that the partner doctors do nail care. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. She's here for a half day in the morning, and she does all our nail care. Now she is really talented now at doing the thick nails, ingrown nails, normal nails, and hasn't learned the calluses yet, but I feel very confident having her see the patients. So I'm seeing a patient. She had 4 of her own patients this last week, so eventually her schedule will increase, and I'll do my schedule. And then we just kind of bust through a lot of patients. So it's a real busy morning, but she's doing a great job. And I also started giving her the Cariflexes. She did a Cariflex, actually looked better than my Cariflex, so I'm excited to give her all those. And then I'm going to start having her do Onifixes as well. So it was a good thing, I think, to have a nail technician in our office. So what's not working? I still had some openings in our schedule in Westboro, possibly due to the new year and deductible, a little bit slower. These first months, our new doctor isn't kind of going out and hitting the street. We didn't really give him time, so I don't know who to blame. But it's hard to do that. So new doctors, I know you're probably struggling with that. That's why so many of the young doctors want to live in or work in a practice where they get fed. Right? They're in a big group. They're in a big hospital group where they're just constantly fed, and it's probably good for them, but it doesn't teach them to do the uncomfortable work that's needed. Another thing that's not working, I can't make a decision on either getting a practice rep or doing more marketing. So I probably should do both. I'm trying to get my buddies on board. The problem with having 3 partners is that you have 3 partners. Like, you can't make any decision. It makes it a little bit more challenging, such as like buying things or investing into like marketing. I'm looking at marketing. I'm also looking at a practice rep. I put an ad out in Indeed to get a practice rep. I've had some people reach out. I've called them, haven't really set up an interview. But one kind of cool idea I had was one of them, she was an office manager at a nail salon, and I was thinking, she was Vietnamese, because here there's a lot of Vietnamese people that run these salons. And I was thinking, gosh, if she could just like go and like just market to all the Vietnamese salons and have them send over all their nail fungus and ingrown toenails to us, or like put a little thing out there, like a little kiosk thing with our information if they have other problems to come see us, like for heel pain or for ingrowns or things like that. I think that would be great. So I'm going to try to reach out to her and make that proposition. Just pay her cash, have her do that. She's a college student, so I think that would be a cool way to use a practice rep. Other things that aren't working, I had some surgeries that were causing a little bit of stress. Everything worked out. but the hospital surgeries cause stress also because there's like a really slow turnover time. And a couple of things that weren't working as well. I did a couple of MRIs after doing shockwaves. One was to the navicular and one was to the fourth and fifth mets, and they really light up. So if you are doing a lot of shockwave and patients either one got one MRI without telling me and one wanted me to order one, it's really kind of confusing when you're doing you really shouldn't get MRIs when you're doing shockwave. So, and the other thing that's not working well is kind of stress. I've been doing a lot of stress eating. I think I don't know, I can't blame anything, but I've been stress eating. So eating poorly, eating during the day, not doing a great job at fasting. Like we started the first day of ModMed, and I don't know if our staff bought bagels from Panera, but I just like attacked them, and I was in like this carb hangover all day, and it was just horrible. And I realized I just do much better not eating anything. So what can I do to improve? So we planned that half day for our new doctor to go out on Thursday afternoons, so blocking time in his schedule. And I put out this ad to interview people for the new office position. So for April, so next month, what my 3 plans are: I want to make this ModMed transition go well, so that's going to be most of my time. I want to hire a practice rep and just get them to start doing some practice repping for us, and then I want to revamp the website copy for SEO. So I have this really talented virtual assistant that does SEO writing, and so she's fixing some of our main pages, and she's doing some blog articles to get focused attention on those things. So it's kind of an investment versus like paying AdWords. It's more making good content so people will come and hear about your practice from those things. Okay. So that is what I call the one-page report. If you have your own, I'd love to have you send it to me. Once again, if you want to get this via email, just go to podiatrypracticemastery.com, register for anything, and you'll get this. Okay, actually, I'll put it up top. If I don't have anything offered up there, I'll put it up there, so if you want to download it, you can look at it. Okay, thanks, guys.